Johnny Manziel Untold or Untold Johnny Manziel did drop on Netflix for free, thankfully, for everyone's viewing pleasure. I don't know if we want to call it the truth about Johnny Manziel. I don't know if maybe any of us any of us are really shocked by what happened. I definitely felt like it was raw though. Thank God Johnny Manziel actually grew up and grew into himself, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally. We saw him, I guess, mature. Definitely life after football is what was meant for him. But, we'll do some takeaways from this documentary. And, I felt like the film really captured Johnny's emptiness the deeper he got into the game of football. And it really showed how little time and leeway that the NFL will actually give you, man. Did anything surprise you that you didn't know already about Johnny football, or just kind of overall also, how did you feel about this, I guess, finally told story of Johnny fucking football, as he liked to call himself?
Yeah, it's a sad one. And I think it's a story that I'm sure a lot of other players have that they don't tell us. It's just professional sports is a path that you really have to be like, look, a major part of your life is not going to happen. A major social aspect of your life, like it all is going to change. I think
Yep.
obviously Manziel, mentally, just kind of how it impacted him. A guy who obviously fantastic in college, goes in, and again, just the timeline for the NFL is so
The
quick,
NFL stands for not for
and
long.
it, yeah, and it demands so much so quickly. Which obviously fair enough. Like, I think for quarterbacks, we were saying 3 years. You need 3 years. We'll give you 3 years, and then if it doesn't work out, then I think now it's like, okay, 2 years.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are like, okay, 1 year, like, because if you're losing and there's a quarterback like Caleb Williams and we have the pick and he's there, why wouldn't we take him?
Right.
Um, so it was definitely a little sad. Obviously, I think you put it very well. A guy who obviously was not built to be a football player. Like, I think there are a lot of people who had the talent, but it's just not for them. Like, I'm a big soccer player. I was outfield player. I then for a year switched into goalie, went up the ranks in teams, but I was like, I just don't love it. Like, it's just not for me. Like, great, I'm on a really good team, but it's just not my thing. So I think obviously for some people, it's the kind of thing where it's like, look, you might have the talent and that's great, but sometimes it's just not for you. And I guess for Manziel, I think the love of the game, depending where you are, is what is so important. No matter how much
Oh
money you're
yeah.
making, no
Oh
matter
yeah.
where you are, just that love of the game is
Boom. Boom.
is
Boom.
everything you have.
Yep.
You know, I'd rather love the game than be paid a ton of money to play it.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of where, and that's the beauty of football and professional sports is like people love what they're doing and they get paid for it. And obviously you can find that obviously in corporate jobs as well, but I guess it's more more widespread, I guess, in the NFL. So for the Manziel documentary, obviously super sad, but a guy who I looks to be doing better now. But yeah, again, just a documentary that I think was the ugly truth about Johnny Manziel, or however you want to spin it.
Yeah. Definitely some ugly truth. Definitely some enlightening truth. The truth, nonetheless,
Yeah.
as the graphic says, definitely the truth about Johnny Manziel, his best friend. I think it was Nate, his agent, who fired him.
Hmm.
Yes, Johnny Manziel's agent fired him. Johnny
Yeah.
Manziel did not fire his agent. The agent fired the client. The client did not fire the agent. Well, absolutely wild to me. He
Yeah.
said he watched
Yeah. Yeah.
0.0% of film. That was a little bit of a shocker, but then when you looked how he played out in the NFL, when you even look at some of his college highlights, one of his most notable plays, and they've been running it back a lot, is when they play Alabama. He tries to scramble to the right, literally runs into the back of his lineman, fumbles the football around as he's juggling around, and then turns around, spins, and throws it in for a touchdown pass. But just the decision to try to run through that type of
Yeah.
pocket was a bad football decision. He just so happened to hit the back of the lineman, catch the ball as he spun around, and then throw a touchdown pass. And I won't take anything away from Johnny Manziel. He was a great football player. First freshman to ever win the Heisman, if I'm not mistaken. And he even
Hmm.
said, as I was there, I didn't think I was going to win it. I mean, he was going up against Manti Te'o, if that tells you
Yeah.
how long ago that he was actually running for the Heisman, and the fact that a freshman at the time, when you only had to play 2 years of college football before they bumped it up to 3, was actually able to go to the NFL. Clearly we see how things played out crazy thing that I thought is in his private workout for the Browns, his agent literally said it. His wide receivers, because Manziel was so drunk from the night before, along with his wide receivers, that the day that he had to do his private workout for the Cleveland Browns, his agent and his lawyer were the two people that he was throwing passes to. His agent literally said that Johnny got there and they were like, "Hey, where are your receivers?" And Johnny was like, "Nope, we're good." And I think what's so funny is the Browns saw that and were like, "Nope, he's
Yeah.
our guy. We want him at 22, 21. We're trading up for him." And like, yes, let's be real. The Browns were the Browns back then, and what was that, 2013, 14, I
Mhm.
think. When they took
14.
him, and I keep thinking he was the number one pick, and he wasn't. He damn near fell out of the
Yeah,
first round.
I just you said that. I was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
I thought he was the first pick."
Mm-mm. He was projected to
Yeah.
be. A lot of people said he could have been. His agent, was talking about like, and they've even showed the graph. Like, if you're number one overall pick, I think your overall total bag is 20 to 30
Yeah,
million.
crazy,
But
crazy.
as it goes down, I mean, you're losing $2 to $4 million per pick selection in the
Yeah.
first round. As the rounds go off, you lose the zeros and so forth and so on. But just to know that that was actually a stipulation, and I feel like it really captured, fortunately or unfortunately, the true addiction side of Johnny
Mhm.
Manziel. He rents out the LA home. The landlord comes in. There's freaking cocaine, drugs,
Yeah.
alcohol all over the table. I mean, Johnny Manziel struggled with drinking. He said, I think like win, lose, or tie, booze is gonna fly or something like that. Like the dude was just constantly knocking him back. And I just enjoyed how vulnerable and raw Johnny Manziel was actually willing to be, because he went on record and he was like, I contemplated taking my life after I got cut from the NFL. And
Mhm.
he didn't even last a full 2 seasons in the league before he gets cut. Knowing that he had a fourth round teammate take his piss test for him, so he was good while he was
Yeah.
at Texas A&M. Knowing that his dad literally almost faked a heart attack to get Johnny Manziel out of his combine drug test. It was just crazy, the stretches and the feats
Yeah.
that people were actually willing to go for him, because even his parents said, like, we couldn't control Johnny anymore. Johnny was literally hanging out with Drake and LeBron and Floyd Mayweather and Justin Bieber. Nobody could tell him anything. And you saw that as Johnny Manziel, he even said it himself, and you even said it too. You can be paid all the money in the world.
Mhm.
Rather be poor and happy than rich and sad, however people want to cut it. The more Johnny Manziel got deeper into it, okay, now I've actually got the starting job at A&M. Okay, now I'm actually a first round pick. My agent actually landed it for me to be a first round pick. Okay, now I actually got the starting job. Okay, now I actually signed my rookie
Yeah.
contract. The deeper he got into what he wanted for the NFL, he said the emptier he felt.
Yeah.
And he literally remembers multiple days waking up and saying, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. I
Mm.
don't want to. Talking to his agent, like, man, I hate it. I don't love it anymore. And that ultimately reflected for Johnny Manziel. But I'm proud of him for teaming up with a great company like Netflix and a good series like Untold to actually put that out there. Because there was a lot of things about Johnny Manziel that I feel like we didn't know. The autograph business. We remember when he went under scrutiny for signing the autographs. We remember how Nate, his friend, literally said he came from oil money. I mean, you could argue Johnny Manziel, he wasn't a scandal, but damn sure was it a painted pig in a way, you
Yeah.
know? And just to think, if he would have actually studied film, if he would have actually heeded to the things that people say, to know that he was that good without an actual dedication to the game is absolutely mind blowing. But it was, I actually just watched it last night after I finished dinner. It was, only a 70-minute watch on Netflix. So it's pretty good. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It definitely encapsulated what Johnny Manziel was on the field versus what he was off the field. And I'm just proud of him to actually come forward and put that out there. There's a lot of controversy as well, apparently, about Reggie Bush's Heisman.
Mhm.
Because Reggie Bush got stripped. They thought, people thought they were pouring a lot of money into him or whatever it was. Johnny Manziel was
Yeah.
literally signing autographs. Nate said, "Once the investigation, once the first investigation stopped," I said, or I stopped, I guess. He was like, "We went right back to signing autographs."